Welcome to the Careerfluencer podcast. This is Omar. I am a marketing specialist currently based out of Fort Worth, Texas. So my story begins with my parents. I am a first generation college student. I was the first in my family to graduate from college, which is very big to me, and that's something that I'm proud of. Since my family is comes from Mexico, they're super traditional. They're very old school. When they got here, they came here to work. They both of them didn't even go to middle school. I think the highest that they got was, I believe, sixth grade. So they never really had much of an emphasis on education. Obviously, they wanted us to do good and they wanted us to do well, and they, expected us to behave. But there was never that kind of push from them. There was no much emphasis on education. Their emphasis was mainly on me being able to have a job and just start bringing income into the family right away. So there was no push of any of that. So throughout my all of my school career or school path, I was the one, telling my parents, "Hey, I want to be enrolled in this program. I want to apply to this school and to go to this competition." And they while they did support my ambition and stuff, they also just didn't have the time or the money to be able to take me to the other side of town for this competition, because we live in the not so great part of town, and everything that was good was on the other side. So I kind of struggled with that. I had a carpool with friends, cousins sometimes, so it was kind of a struggle throughout. So I eventually got to high school, and that's when kind of I was like, Omar, my parents, they told me straight up, we can't help you pay for college. The only way that you can go will be if you pay for it yourself, or if you get it funded through scholarships or financial aid. So that was always one of my main priorities. And just, I mean, seeing my dad, they're all hard workers. All my family is hard workers. So it's that grit that I get from them. And I come, like I said, I come from a traditional Hispanic family where, family is very valuable. So to them, me even moving, 30 minutes away, it was kind of like, no, they told me no. But that's when I had a serious talk with them, and I said, this is my career. I know you may not see the results, in the short term, like right away, because college takes a while, but it certainly is an investment. I know you're going to have your son, your baby go away, but it'll definitely pay off in the long run. And that was new to them. That was really new to them. No one in my family had ever gone. No one in my family had ever moved away. So, although it may be something like so simple, so regular to most people, that your kid goes off to college. To my family, it was very like, whoa, he actually did it. I've always been kind of ever since elementary school, I would be the teacher's aide. I'd be the student that the teacher trusted to, go get something from the car, go assist them with stuff. And then when it came to bigger projects, and as I started growing older, I'd become more involved. And in high school, it was a small school and it was a new school, so there wasn't really much support, many resources or anything. So again, it went back to the elementary school Omar, having to go out and look for it himself. So I had to, reach out to old teachers. I had to reach out to just mentors outside of my school because we didn't have the proper resources. When it comes to, sticking to your gut and, your ambitions as a person wanting to excel in their career and wanting to be a good student, there definitely is so much, I guess, just backlash, even from your own parents, from your own family. I tell my cousins and my aunts, like, I'm going to go to college and it's going to get all paid for. And they'd laugh, And I don't think it's always just with bad intentions, but it's just like they know where we are in life, as Hispanics, as sons of immigrants. They know, how life is. So, they're just like, I mean, good luck, but haha. So that definitely does. It didn't affect me. It actually kind of encouraged me more, but there definitely is a lot of that, and you kind of have to just push through it and just kind of ignore it sometimes. But what has kept me, on that path and wanting to keep going is just from a very early on. I've just been very like I know who I am and I know what I want, and I think that's very important. And staying true to yourself, which is one thing that I would recommend to everyone. And I know it sounds kind of corny, kind of cheesy, but once you know like what it is that who you are and like the value that you bring, it kind of just opens up so many opportunities and possibilities. Like I know it sounds weird, but like if you are in tune with yourself and what your expectations are for your career and what you want and what makes you happy, that would just make everything else align. So the transition from student to and a serious adult was super challenging on so many levels. There's emotionally and mentally, um, and it is an adjustment. It is definitely something that you have to get adjusted to. So with me, it started with I mean, my degree program, it required me to have an internship for my minor and for my major. So that definitely helped. Just having those internship opportunities in the real world. Um, and one thing that I noticed during those internships was that as a son of immigrants, uh, that have a sixth grade education level, you certainly feel the difference compared to everyone else. So one pivotal moment in my career, it actually happened in college. So it was before my career, but I think it has truly really shaped like who I am and how I go about things today. So during one of my internships, I was assigned a mentor, and with that specific mentor, I spoke about my interest in specific marketing to the Hispanic market because that's what I'm passionate about. That's what I love. And it was just a coincidence that she had a network of friends that were a part of this Hispanic marketing conference. So just from that simple connection right there, that goes to show you just like opportunities are anywhere. So simply by talking to her it led me to that, which led me to going home and researching it, which led me to finding out that there's a way to get help from my school to fund it. I emailed the school, my college, and no one reached back out. So one day I was out of class, drinking at the water fountain, and then I look over and I see the dean of that specific journalism school, and I ask her like, "Hey, I sent an email." I was kind of like reluctant at first to kind of ask her anything because she's the dean, and I was like, "Who am I to just go up to her and just ask for something?" But I did. I was like, in my internship, I've been learning like you have to ask these questions, you have to go for stuff, you have to be a go getter. So I did that, and then she was like, "Oh no, I'm so sorry. They haven't told me anything about it. I'll go right now and check." And then I went to my back to my class, and obviously ignored the professor for the rest of the class because my trip was more important. Um, and I emailed her, and I was like, it's a bit pricey, and I'm a student trying to get my career going. I'm I don't know if there's any money available for students wanting to do that. Just thought I'd ask, and I was reluctant to send that also because who am I to ask her for money? But I did it. And from there, she replied and she was like, "Yeah, no, for sure. Come to my office after class." So I was like, okay." And then I went to her office after class and she was like, "There's my assistant. Just tell her what flight you want, and what hotel you're gonna get, and they'll put it on my credit card, on the school's credit card." So that's when I was like, "Wait, what?" Was it really that easy? And so from there, it's when I learned like you just have to ask for stuff. Like I said earlier, there's opportunities anywhere from any random person. If you have a gut feeling, don't be afraid to ask because the worst that can happen is no, and the worst and the best that can happen is you get a free trip. So, and I just to say thank you, I created a small video just telling her how much I learned. But from that moment, I learned sometimes you just got to go straight to the top, and then also you have to go and ask for it, which that moment kind of led me to in my full-time job. I was new at my new job and I was the youngest person there, but I didn't want to let that stop me. So I asked our senior manager for our one-on-one, and I presented some ideas. And like I said earlier, my passion is marketing to the Hispanic market. So I presented ideas about that. We have our customer base, some of them are Spanish speakers only, and I presented some ideas, and then from there she was like, "You know what? like these are some good ideas. Let me set you up a meeting with RVP. And I was like, oh, what? Um, so that was very like, wow, I've been like, what, 2 months in the role. And, I got that meeting, which was huge. From there, it built a good relationship with me and her. And, I see her across, the office, out in the office. And, it's good to have that relationship and to be able to have that confidence, to present an idea. And what keeps me going is that I connect myself to a kind of bigger purpose. But me personally, like, I know that I bring a value and I can do something about supporting the Hispanic community. So within my, I live in DFW, large Latino population. So I just see myself and I tie myself onto that. My current job, they hired me because they saw a need for them to market towards the Hispanic community. So that aligns with my goals, and another thing that I want to say about that is the current job that I'm in, it's with mobile homes. So it's not the most glamorous thing. But I really, truly, just this past week, I'm like, I can't believe I'm getting paid for this, to work here, because I'm really doing what I love because I'm targeting the Hispanic community. It means a lot to my heart. So that just fuels me a lot with my career. And that's why I would suggest whenever doing or on the job search, don't always necessarily look at the company. I mean, obviously that's important, but what I saw in this job was an opportunity to increase my skills within the Hispanic market, which is my long-term goal. So with this, I'm going to gain the skills I need, the experience that I need, and I'm going to be able to work with and talk to the people that I'm passionate about. And that goes a long way, and it'll help my career in a long way. So I think just seeing things long term, making sure you have your goals, is what fuels me and what keeps me going. So I have a mentor that once told me, we had a phone call. And I was like, I'm on this job search. What do I do? It's kind of discouraging. And I also have these side projects that I want to focus on. And what they told me is like, you stick to your story and kind of emphasize that. And after that, I was like, it all makes sense because, my side projects are, trying to empower the Latino community. My job, what I'm good at, my career, my profession, it's marketing, reaching out to those people. So I took that, and then the next week I had a job interview. And I told my story. Ever since when I was little, what makes me different is my background, where I came from, and it may seem super small. It may seem unimportant, but those things found they built the foundation for what I am today, and what I can bring to the table. I explained that I come from a parents of immigrants, and although it may be kind of irrelevant, it goes to show my character. Whenever they ask me what are one of the biggest challenges of your career, I know it may seem like a long time ago or a little irrelevant, but I always say just getting into college. Because like I said, my parents' education wasn't the main thing. I kind of had to push myself. There was no resources. I had to go out and look for them myself. It was either it all gets paid for or nothing. So that time period of my life built who I am today. And I relate that story in interviews, and I explain to how that builds my work ethic and what I can bring to the table. And it's helped me, it's helped me open up opportunities. So I would just encourage everyone to know your story. Don't be ashamed of where you come from. Know how to twist it, how to sell yourself, and how to explain that, it builds value and that it makes you different, and that's why you're the perfect candidate.